Yo, JD here, and as you can see, we are back on iRacing once again, which might be a familiar intro over the next coming weeks because, yeah, I just absolutely love playing this game, especially just how the whole online aspect works. We have to sign up to races, and the cleaner you are, the better racing you have, the better drivers you go against. And yeah, I just absolutely love the format of this game. And like I said in my last video, I can't believe I haven't got into it earlier. So in today's video, we are trying out the F1 car again, but this time in an actual race situation. And if you aren't familiar with iRacing, each week they have a different combo selection of cars and tracks together. But in week 13, which it is this week, the final week of the season, they have actually allowed this car, and it doesn't affect your iRating or the safety rating or anything at all. So a lot of people have warned me that these lobbies will probably be a lot more dirty than usual, but it's really just to give people a chance to see how they find this car itself. So in this video, we're at Watkins again, and if you're wondering why I was actually pausing the screen there, the reason for that is because in the qualifying you have to start on the tyre that you qualified on. It's actually a 14-minute race, and the softs do go off fairly quickly as well, so that's why I decided to use the medium tyre for the qualifying. But also another thing is, if you looked at my steering wheel at the start of the lap, I didn't save the ERS on the out lap. So in qualifying you have the attack mode, or the qualifying mode. In the race, the ERS is set to balance, so you don't really have to manage it at all. But you know, like in the F1, the official F1 games, you can actually just turn off the ERS deployment on the out lap. But on this game here, you can't change it in this format, at least for now. So you have to actually be quite slow on the out lap, and I didn't realise that. So yeah, that was costing me quite a bit of time, because you can see coming into here now, we're very low on the battery. We're in single-digit figures, and I didn't realise that until a little bit later, where you will see kind of the penny drops when, yeah, I was meant to be saving that on the out lap. So we're on the medium tyres here, and do a lap that's actually good enough for P4 in this session. It's only 4/10 away from pole, so I was actually quite happy with this, although I didn't know I had to save the ERS on the out lap. So we've got the 5 lights here, 4 lights here, and as they go out, we get a really poor start, because on this medium tyre, and there's still very inexperienced in this car. And then coming into this turn 1, have a snatch of the brakes, and yeah, I didn't realise how early these guys are going to be braking, and you can see with the wheel, that is my race over. So there'll be many things I have to learn in this game, and again, if you do enjoy these videos, enjoy my iRacing journey, please give the video a like. Itself really lets me know that you are enjoying it as well, as much as I am. And you can see again, we decided to join another qualifying session, but once again, we didn't save the ERS on the out lap. So we're coming across the line here, running out of the battery completely, and across the line we decided to go on the soft tyres this time, and that was a 17.8, so not really too much difference between the medium or the soft. But you can see in the straight line already we were losing time because we had no battery, and you can see now this is where the penny drops. Very, very confused face, but then I realised that I hadn't been saving my battery on the out lap, so I decided to go back to the pits because I've still unknown how it really works, because I know you get 2 flying laps, but from what I know now, I believe you have to actually do them in a row. So if you bottled your first lap, you have to kind of back off and then go for the second lap. You can't come in the pits and do that, because you'll see by this lap here, we had still a bit of time left on the table in terms of the session actually ending. So you're about to see how much time we gained, because we actually saved our ERS on the out lap. So starting a lap with about 80% rather than 30 or 40% and running out in the last sector. So again, it's going to be a journey for me to learn all these little details, because I'm so used to playing the official F1 games. There are lots of little things that I need to learn and improve on, not just the driving, but just little things in the game itself. So again, just want to thank everyone so much for the advice I've taken all of it on board, and it really has transformed my experience. So without you guys and many individuals who have helped me personally, I probably wouldn't be doing these videos and really discover this game in its true form or glory. So please keep the criticism coming, whether it's with the driving or settings. And you can see here we have run out of time, so we only got to do one lap. This time we're starting in P3s, and you can see we could have improved on that quite a bit. So as lights go out now, we get a much better start here, and the goal is just to not get damaged, stay in the race. The safety rating and the I rating doesn't get affected in week 13, or for now in these cars at least. But I still wanted to try and promote clean driving, and these guys here, the guy who is behind me now, Thomas O'Leary, is a very high I rating, so he should be a fairly good driver. I don't know how difficult it is to get to a 6 or 7 I rating. I imagine it does take a fair amount of time, so I presumed that he was a good driver, and the guy ahead of me as well is certainly no slouch either. So we're going to just do our best and showcase most of this race, and really what you're about to see here is just me pushing as hard as I can, trying to learn as much as I can, because at the early stage of this game you're not going to be the best player, and that's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. It's just how much I can progress, how good can I get at this game, because I've been so used to the simcade of the official F1 series. I actually came from a karting background myself. I did it for 10 years at a British and a European level, and was fairly successful at it. So I would feel maybe playing on an actual sim will help me a lot. And you can see straight away the guy in the lead is maximizing that turn 1 as much as possible, so you can actually run really wide there, which, due to my experience of this game, I didn't realize you could do. And I've played this track before on games such as Forza. I think even Tocker Race Driver might have had this back in the day. So I really do love this circuit. It's actually one of my favourite tracks that I've ever driven on previous racing games. So I did know the layout fairly well. But of course, this is like my first 30 minutes experience with this car around this track. So I know there is much more to come. And if I could just stick with this guy up ahead of me and maybe even keep the guy behind me, as you can see, he's actually running out wide as well. So realised after reading this video that, looking back at the footage, of how much of the track you could use. And again, I don't know if that's because maybe people are not using or not caring about their safety rating and I rating, because it doesn't get affected here, so a lot of people can take the track limits much more. But you can see there with the slipstream effect as well, if you're within a second, there is a fairly big slipstream effect in a straight line. So we're getting a little bit closer to this guy in the lead, who I believe is from Japan, with a 5 I rating and above, with the guy behind the highest I rating in this hobby. So going through this turn 1, we are trying to use a bit more of the track, but he's using even more than that. So you can see we've lost the time here. That green light shows that we have got within the DRS zone, but the guy behind is right up behind me. So I thought to myself, you know what, I want to stay in this race and actually learn something. So I'm going to have a little bit of a lift off the throttle, let him go and see what we can do. So many of these next laps will be completely uncut, just showing you the battle that I was going through this race. And I think since I crashed out of the first one I didn't know how the tyres would react. So races like this is where you actually learn so much on how to improve yourself with the driving. And I know each car's going to be different and each track is going to be different, but just learning these little tweaks in the game and just getting familiar with the tyre wear model, the tyre model itself, the slipstream effect, and all these little things will add up over time, which is why I myself, who on the F1 games at the moment, it's not always about being the fastest, it's about knowing what you can exploit in the game. But then this guy has had a massive moment and has crashed into the pits, or just drove into the pits. So it just shows pushing a little bit to the limit here And let's see if we can get back within the DRS zone of this guy up ahead, because every lap these tyres were really starting to drop off quite a bit, and the oversteer and the understeer was kicking in more and more. But yeah, this circuit in an F1 car feels absolutely incredible. It's pretty much almost a flat out track. No, that chicane there, I don't know if you even need to brake really going through there, because I haven't really watched anyone else's on boards. But yeah, what a track this is. It's absolutely insane. But I definitely felt that I was quicker than this guy up ahead, apart from really turn 1 and maybe that fast chicane at the end of the straight. For the rest of the lap, like going through this section here, although he uses more of the track, going through the slow speed sections, and of course we actually have to brake a lot more and go on the power nice and progressively, things like this, I actually felt like I was faster at this part of the track. So I was just trying very, very desperately to get within the DRS zone of this guy and get that slipstream effect, because it is quite powerful on this game. But you can see again, look how wide he's going. But I think that time he's actually gone a fraction too wide, so we didn't actually lose that much on the exit turn 1 this time. We can see the green light again shows we are going to get DRS. So as we go through this little point here, you can see 4 lights. That means the DRS is fully open. The ERS mode you can't change, so the only thing you can change in this combo or the cars this week with the official F1 car is just the brake bias. The setups are also fixed, which just gives people a chance to really get used to the same machinery rather than an advantage of a setup, which I would imagine with the experienced iRacing players would gain quite a big advantage from. So it's pretty much all down to the driving. And a lot of people also said after my Magny Cores video to put the brake bias very low, which is the reason why I have it on the lowest it possibly can be. But you can see now we're actually starting to gain a bit of momentum in this race, and you could just see the intensity on my face. It just felt so immersive and reminds me of when I was back in karting, the races, how I felt there. Just really, really on edge, intense. Everyone is just super, super close, and it just feels so satisfying. Just, again, the connectivity to the car, something I always bang on about, which I know might get boring over time, but that's the thing I miss in the official F1 games. I don't really care about the handling so much, but just the connectivity, and yes, the bugs on top of it as well, which can be fixed, and there's lots of other issues as well apart from the handling. But I think the connectivity, that is just the main reason why it does feel quite unsatisfying, and why games such as this are so addictive to play, because you actually feel like you're in the cockpit, minus the G-force and the fear factor. You just feel at one with the car itself, as this guy unfortunately has gone off, and that has resulted in the leader having a bit of a poor exit going through here. So we're just trying to really put my fire. You can see that's our first lockup, so the tyres are starting to go, and it's about learning how much you can actually push these tyres every lap, which is something I need to learn, especially in this car, and also for other cars, other track combos. It's something that I'll have to get used to, because you can see every lap here, the understeer was just getting more and more. It's running into the wall there, so close to hitting the wall there, and it may not look it, but we were pushing very hard. I was giving it my absolute maximum I could. Wasn't going out wide there, because I just didn't feel confident to go out wide at that stage, because I saw sometimes that when he did that, he actually lost quite a bit of time, and when I did it half-heartedly, I felt like the car could snap on me. So the main thing for me this race was just to finish, to do it cleanly, to not get damaged, and then build on it from there. But you can see the chronic understeers coming in here, and we have to do a big lift out of the throttle. So normally that is a flat out. The tyres are well and truly going off now. You can see by my delta, we're almost a second down from what we have done on our best lap. And if you look at the lap times on the top left hand side of the screen, they are getting further and further away. I think by the end of this race we were about 3 seconds down. But you can see again through this section, I'm running out wide now because the understeer is hitting me, but through this section I felt like we were fairly strong, so he actually misses the apex or just maybe takes a bit of a different line through here. But yeah, through this section I felt we were strong. It's just the first half of the lap. That's where we need to get a little bit closer to come out here again, almost kissing. I think we actually kissed the wall there. See a little smile on my face as we come out there. So we're really enjoying this. I was really just having so much fun. You can see he's going out wide again, but I don't think he actually gained that much lap time. So we are still just about within this DRS zone. But when we do get close, I felt like, I don't know how big the dirty air effect is on this game. Someone could comment down below, maybe telling me that. But I felt like when I was getting closer, the understeer was just getting worse and worse. And going through here, I just couldn't really get on the power. And do we have to do another lift again? No, we don't, but really having to apply a lot of steering, not going through here to here. So yeah, making another little mistake. So this time he's actually gained quite a bit of time coming through into this section. And yeah, this is where I was starting to feel a bit unease with the car. This is a bit unknown territory for me. So again, as much as I want to try and win this as much as I can, the safety rating isn't being affected or anything, but I just want to learn to get used to the car and see another snap of the steering, another smile as well. So even when we're making mistakes, still absolutely enjoying this game, really using the track here. And yeah, I started to feel the car wanted to snap out of my hands, and we're still giving it everything, but making sure we want to finish this race. So I always feel it's important, especially like if you're doing a qualifying lap or something, when you make a mistake, it's important to keep continuing. Because if you're just overdoing the limit every time, then it's really hard to build up that consistency. And that's what I'm looking to do right now, is just to get used to this new experience, build up the consistency, and then work on the raw pace over time itself. But you can see we've actually now lost the DRS zone, and he started to put away a little bit, so just kissing that barrier once again. So really pushing the limits as much as I could here. But yeah, it's just through this first section, this first corner, because it was losing it again. He was very strong through here, and almost cut through here. We actually do hit the wall this time, so almost crashing out, but I don't think we actually suffered that much damage here, or if any damage at all. But as we come through, this is the last lap of the race. The gap kind of stabilized, so we didn't lose that much time in the end. But then coming through this last corner, we're going to come home in P2, and I certainly learned a lot from my first official, F1 race outside of the Codemaster F1 games. That's the first F1 race I've ever done that's not been an official F1 game. And as a sign of respect, go weave in front of this guy, give him the good old thumbs up. I could go next to him, so GG to him. He was a really fast driver and very consistent as well. Giving a bit of weave, as you can see the wing mirror, or the mirror above me, he's doing a bit of a weave back. So I absolutely love that. That may not have looked that intense, but for me, when you're actually driving, you really are pushing. It's a very satisfying feeling. So again, please comment down below any advice, anything you want to see for me for my racing in the future. And yeah, I'm just loving this experience, and I feel like that really does show when I'm driving as well, not just in the webcam, but just in the intensity and the driving itself. Yeah, I absolutely love this game. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really hope you enjoyed your weekend, and I'll be catching you very soon. Peace.